Inside Football is proud to have Joey as our presenting partner. Nicotine with a quick hit, long tail, in the strength of your choice. As a thank you for being part of Inside Football's crew, we teamed up with Joey to give you a 35% discount on your first order. Get it all at meetjoey.com/football.
We all know the elephant in the room. Every other team in the NFC has been at least to the NFC Championship game since the Cowboys last played in the Super Bowl 30. What is going to make this the year that the Cowboys can get to where they want to go?
You know, I feel like the offense is in place. As you said, it's got all the pieces. We got everything back from a team that was, an offense that was our number 2 in the league and did it with fewer possessions and fewer times they had their hands on the ball. So I think all that's there, and then we just feel like, one, we made the right hire. We put a lot of work into it. Hats off to Coach Schottenheimer. He was tireless in interviewing many people, and he wanted to make sure he got it right. And I do think we got the staff right, and then we were able to get the vision right in terms of the players that we needed to put around Christian for him to execute.
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome into Inside Football Extra. Trey Wingo here with Steve Keim and the coach, Marvin Lewis. We are parked in Oxnard, California, and I gotta tell you, it's a pretty good place to be parked. This is an almost idyllic setting for a training camp as we're here with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, great place. Obviously, we had a number of great interviews today. Brian Schottenheimer was so impressive to me. I think he's got a great pulse on this football team.
I think the passion and everything that he displays during our time, you get to feel how he's pushing this team, urging this team, pulling the best out of this team moving forward.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of great interviews lined up for you there, and we're going to get to those in a minute. But before you do that, we did do an entire preview of the NFC East. And Steve, what should they do right now?
Go fucking watch it now.
My comparison to Dallas, I'm going to take you back to the 90s in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Where offensively, we knew we could be prolific. Now, Dallas, if they are not a top 5 offense, and they are not in the top 10 in turnovers, they got no chance of being in the playoffs. Like, I'm not going to expect their defense to be a top 15 defense. But if they can create turnovers, because this offense, and the offense can be as explosive as any offense, but, a lot of those days, man, we're holding on to our seat. Brett Favre got the ball at the end going against our defense. Was like, this ain't going to end well.
If you look at this defense now, okay, and I get it, it still has to come together.
Sure.
Teddy Bruschi once said to me the greatest thing in the world, they have a lot of good players, we don't know if they have a good team.
Steven, the Cowboys know how to put on a show. Okay? The line out the door to get into training camp was unlike anything we've seen in any of the things we've been in before. What do you attribute the draw of this team to always being?
Well, I just think, at the end of the day, obviously curiosity drives everybody to want to take a look. But, going all the way back to when, Bum Bright had the team, going back further than that, the Murchisons with Tex and Tom, they built a huge fan base out here. They were coming to camp out here long before a lot of people were probably even traveling, going to Thousand Oaks and, really, bringing the Cowboys to Southern California. And certainly that's, we've embraced it. I always knew it was probably a good thing. When we hired Bill Parcells, and he goes, what in the hell are we doing going out to California for camp? And I said, just give it a chance, you'll like it. After about 3 days, he goes, I get it. I understand what you're doing. We're going to keep doing this as long as I'm here. I love it. And but it does. It allows the players to get away, get a respite and just 100% focus on what they're trying to get accomplished in terms of trying to put a team together. I mean, all these men have, wives, families, and as we all know what comes with that, you're always got challenges when you have young kids and you have all the moving parts that come with this. And this allows them to totally focus on the task at hand. And so we've loved being out here, and we just signed a new deal, as a matter of fact, to be out here for the next 5 years. So we're fired up about it.
Awesome. Over the past decade, I felt like personally you guys have been one of the better drafting teams in the NFL. You can't keep them all. That's pretty self-explanatory. How important has Will McClay and his staff been to your success?
Well, I happen to agree with you, Steve. I do think Will and his staff do an amazing job. And one of the things Will brings to the dance is he's unselfish. At the end of the day, he wants to get it right. And boy, does he embrace, whether it's a new head coach, whether it's a new coordinator, immediately getting his staff with that staff and looking for the vision they have and what they want in a football player so they can accomplish in a particular scheme what they want to accomplish. And, one of the challenges you have when you're changing out coordinators, which unfortunately we have on the defensive side of the ball, I think going on 4 years now between moving from Dan to Coach Zimmer, who you know all so well, Eberflus, and now Christian. We've had a lot of moving parts, and that is a challenge for the personnel department because, each scheme, they're looking for maybe a different type of a three technique, maybe a different type of big end. Maybe they want to do an odd front rather than an even. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into, trying to make that work. And I give Will a ton of credit. He really spends a ton of time with each particular side of the ball, the special teams, what they're looking for there, and really trying to have a vision. So when he sends his guys out on the road, we bring all our scouts out here for the first week so they can see what they're coaching, what they're looking for in a player. Hey, they don't like that guy because here's the problem, so we know we're not going to be looking for that type of guy, although that guy may fit perfectly in another scheme.
Somebody else.
And so, that's where I think Will's amazing in terms of his communication with the coaching staff and how ultimately we put the big picture together.
You mentioned Christian Parker. You have a new defensive coordinator. What have you seen? What has impressed you about Christian thus far?
One of the things that jumped out right away is his history and recall is amazing. I mean, he remembers all the schemes that he's been in, all the offenses that he's gone against. We brought D. Winters in here, and he goes, D. Winters is wanting to lean that way because he's been seeing Shanahan roll right and throw back the backside, and D's checking a little too long for my liking. But he's got a great feel for all the offenses that he's gone against. But, on top of that, he's a great communicator, and he insists on communication between the guys. It's so important that they constantly communicate and how they communicate. And I think we lost a little of that last year as we just didn't quite have the communication that we needed, to have success. And I think he encourages that. I think he knows what he wants to get done. And by the way, it's not just what he did in Philly last year. He's bringing some combination of some things that he might not totally agreed with Vic on everything, but obviously he's a hell of a coach and going to execute what Vic wants to execute. But he also learned a lot of things from Vance Joseph and wants to bring some things from that. And, I just think he's so impressive and beyond his years. I mean, he's a young guy, but beyond his years in terms of what he brings to the dance in terms of different schemes and things of that, and then how he's going to execute and how he's going to lead these guys on defense, to get us back to where, we can be competitive on that side of the ball. We weren't competitive last year.
Right. I mean, that's what has to change, right, for this year's team. The offense seems like it's in place, and we can get into that in a minute. It really has to be about that defense coming up to a standard that just wasn't there last year.
Right. No, it's obviously it was well below any type of standard. Yeah. I mean, it was historically, unfortunately, not good. And, if we'd been able to play middle of the road defense, I think we'd have been right in the middle of the playoffs. And who knows, because this offense with, Dak's leadership, he just keeps getting better every year. One of the things I always recollect from Troy and Tony when they retired is they said, I hate I'm having to retire because of my physical, because mentally I think I'm the best quarterback I've been in my entire career because you just keep getting better. And I think Dak feels that way. He thinks he's going to have his greatest year that he's ever had. And, of course, we were able to bring back, the entire offense. And then we got a few pieces that could step up that didn't contribute last year that I think can, a guy like a Blue, our running back, has extraordinary juice and speed. And he's really matured a lot, and I think he can bring another weapon to the dance, if you will. And, of course, it's an offense that already is, got some nice pieces.
Yeah, well, and having that change of piece running back
is a heck of a deal. I mean, Javante did a hell of a job, but you throw that guy in there. I mean, Christian Parker, they scouted him, and he said one of the biggest things he was worried about opening game when we played him last year is how he was going to defend Blue, and he was so relieved to hear he was inactive on the first game. Were his exact words. So.
Over the years, you and I have talked a lot about negotiations and contracts and sort of spitballed off each other. Contracts are put in place to protect both sides, the team and players.
Yes.
You know, talk a little bit about Pickens and the franchise tag. Because in my estimation, there's nothing wrong with using this franchise tag because it's in your favor at your time. Whereas at times, if you got the hammer, you're gonna use that leverage. So, I mean, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, and I certainly respect that too. When a player's got you, he's going to use it too. I mean, Dak eventually got to a place where he had the hammer, and there were no tags left, and there was no anything, and you know he wanted his money, and he got his money. He had the leverage, and that's how these things work. But you know, we just feel like, you know, we had George for a year, and just felt like, you know, it was in everybody's best interest, and who knows, it may be that it's in George's best interest to put 2 good years back to back. And you know, George knows where the issues are, and you know, they're not malicious. I mean, he's a hell of a player, he's a hell of a man, and you know, there's just, as we all do, have things that we can improve upon, and certainly he can, and you know, he continues to get that worked out, then you know, it's all out there for George to have.
He controls his own destiny.
That's it. And it's all about him. I mean, obviously, he's a unique talent. And I mean, there's very few guys who can do what he can do. And everybody knew that coming out, and knew what a unique talent he was. But he also knows there's some things, you know, that he's got to, you know, get better at, if you will. Nobody's ever going to get it totally right. Nobody. But I really think he can help himself, and you know, George can get one of those contracts he's looking for. He ultimately will, I'm sure, and we'll see where that is.
That's right.
Look, Inside Football is proud to have Joey as our presenting partner. Nicotine with a quick hit, long tail, in the strength of your choice. No tobacco leaf, no smoke, no spit. 36 flavors, 3 strengths, 108 ways to find yours. And if you're out on the golf course, a Joey in the cart is just as good as it is in the studio. Whether we're breaking down tape or breaking down the league, Joey's right there with us every episode. As a thank you for being part of Inside Football's crew, we teamed up with Joey to give you a 35% discount on your first order. Get it all at meetjoey.com/football.
We're sitting here, we're talking about how good the offense is. We believe the defense is going to be much improved with the players that you guys have brought in, including Caleb Downs, who looks like a phenomenal talent that fell to you guys when you got him. We all know the elephant in the room. Every other team in the NFC has been at least to the NFC Championship game since the Cowboys last played in the Super Bowl 30. What is going to make this the year that the Cowboys can get to where they want to go?
You know, I feel like the offense is in place. As you said, it's got all the pieces. We got everything back from a team that was, you know, an offense that was our number 2 in the league and did it with fewer possessions and fewer times they had their hands on the ball. So I think all that's there. And then we just feel like, one, we made the right hire. We put a lot of work into it. Hats off to Coach Schottenheimer. He was tireless in interviewing many people. And you know, he wanted to make sure he got it right, and I do think we got the staff right, and then we were able to get the vision right in terms of the players that we needed to put around Christian for him to execute on the defensive side of the ball. As you mentioned, we got Caleb Downs. Malachi Lawrence has done everything and more that we've expected from him. Just an intense guy who wants to be great. And then, you know, Barham has been a huge surprise for us. What he's doing, not only at inside backer, obviously we know he can play the outside backer spot, but what he's been able to do on the inside's a big plus, to go in there with Overshown, D. Winters, and the group that we have in there. So the linebacker position has turned out to shore itself up a lot better than expected. I think the biggest question mark we have is, you know, we just got to keep working every day at corner and see where we're going to end up there. But we got, you know, obviously some young guys there that we're counting on. But, you know, we think we can put it together the right way. But, you know, feel good overall that we can get the defense where it needs to be to give us that opportunity to go contend for a championship.
What would it mean for you and the family personally to finally get back to that place?
Oh, it'd be huge. I mean, it's Jerry's number one goal. It's almost it's laughable on my on my part to think that people think, oh, he's more about making money than he is winning. You don't want to know what he would pay to get back to the championship game, get to that big game and win it. I mean, there's no amount I'm sure that he's capable of, if he could do it, that he wouldn't write a check for. But unfortunately, that's not how it works in our game, and you got to go get the job done. But it's so important to our family. It means so much, especially to Jerry. He knows he doesn't have forever, and there's this old saying, no one's getting out of this world alive. So nobody, and he certainly knows that he doesn't have forever to get the job done.
The other thing is, when you see the sale of the Seahawks, almost a 30% or 33% increase over the sale price of the then football team, now the Commanders. Cowboys have always been the most valued franchise, sports franchise in this country. Do you ever wrap your head around the valuation of what this team would be were it to go on the market?
Yeah. You know, that's it's always when you see it, you smile. But there's no
a big smile
on our family's part to not have the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. I mean, there's zero interest, and there was a comment I made about you never rule anything out, but we really don't have an interest in having partners in the team either. And we love this franchise. We love the Cowboys. We know what they're all about. It's about the fandom and the people who support them, and the guys who go out there and lay it on the line, the players, the coaches. We just love being a part of it, and we want to make it better. When Jerry first bought the team, he looked me in my eyes and brother and sister and said, we got to leave it in a better place than where we found it. And that's the key every day. We got to make it better than it was last year. We got to make it, this year's going to be a big year, but then we got to make it better again. And, that's always been the genesis, whether it's AT&T Stadium, the Star, whatever we're trying to get accomplished with the team and bring value not only to the Cowboys but to the NFL. We love the league, we love the game, we want to make it better, and we want to be a part of that.
Because there had been a story maybe Mark Cuban might be interested in getting it. Is that just fodder or what's going on there?
That's fodder. We love Mark, and
Mark loves Mark too.
We respect Mark and everything that he stands for and what he did for the Mavs and doing for the Mavs. And but like I said, we just really don't have any interest in that right now. A lot made of it, but we love being the only ownership involved in the Cowboys, between our partners, between Jerry, my brother and sister, and myself. We love the team, and that's the way we want to keep it. And partners can be hard.
Yeah, well, I always said, once you work for yourself, you don't want to work for anybody else.
Steve and I would play golf together, and he would talk a lot about that. I know that. When he was telling me about building the Star.
Absolutely.
Dad, we need to build a new facility.
It was hard on him.
Yeah, he said, Steve and
I know what these facilities cost. I've read. I said, well, I think we can do it where we can make it a real estate deal and have a return on it. Yeah. Now I'll listen.
Now, Stephen, that's a good idea. That's what he told me.
Now I'll listen.
Well, Stephen, it's been great. We appreciate your time, and let's see if this is the year.
Absolutely. We're so looking forward to it. Obviously, you can't get out what you want unless you put the work in. Right. And certainly the guys are putting the work in. Coach Schottenheimer doing an amazing job, amazing leader. They embrace him. He's authentic. They know he's real, and they want him to be successful. So it's going to be great to see this team come together.
Absolutely. Sure will. Sure. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, guys. Great being on.
So thanks to everybody for having us out here. Thanks to Jerry and Stephen and everybody with the Cowboy staff. They were very courteous and accommodating. Thank you guys for watching. We've got a bunch of great content coming your way, and sadly, this is it from Oxnard.
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it, Steve.
Cheers, people.
Go fucking watch it now.